Welcome to the Yo-11 podcast, mostly Vegas, no BS casino experience and more. Today's episode, Show Me the Wynn Buffet. This is episode 95, season 3 of the Yo-11 podcast. Michael Trager is a casino and travel loyalty expert who also helps people turn their travel dreams into reality. And now your host, Michael Trager. How's it going, Michael?
It's going great. We have to say, though, it's the Wynn Las Vegas buffet because there used to be an Encore Boston Harbor buffet.
I was not aware of that.
But the Encore Boston Harbor buffet became the sports book. That's when they had a pretty okay buffet at Encore Boston Harbor, but then when sports betting was authorized, well, I think it's a combination of closing down around COVID. Somebody probably knows this better than I do, but they closed down the buffet, but then also they were doing something with the area, or maybe it was before COVID or during COVID or something. Whenever sport, I would have to look up what sports betting is because it just popped in my mind. Anyway, they don't have a buffet anymore. Of the Wynn buffets, I haven't been to the Wynn Las Vegas buffet in 100 million years. So this was sort of cool to get there. The last Wynn buffet I was at before this, I think, was the Wynn Palace buffet in Cotai, Macau in 2016. And that's my story.
All right.
But anyway, I did go to the buffet one night. This happened to be the night before I went to XS because I didn't think I was going to XS, and I thought, well, my whole plan was that I was going to go to the buffet. I was going to maybe play a few slots, wander around, go to bed by 11 o'clock at night, and then I was going to see Movestro the next day, maybe gamble a little bit before in the morning, do some work, and that sort of all went to hell. And that was so I went to buffet on Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. So I had to change those plans because after the buffet, I met up with some friends. We had a bunch of drinks. Then we went to XS, and I accidentally got to sleep at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So that's changed my Monday a little bit.
I would imagine so. I mean, I never took you for, for a club person there, Mr. Traeger. I never took you for a kind of guy, just.
Yeah, well, clubs are healthier than buffets.
Valid point. Very valid point.
That's you took me for a buffet guy, though.
Well, kind of. I mean, because you've talked about them before. So, I was like buffet, I could see you. Then you're like, I'm at XS. This place is crazy. Like when I got the taxis.
I was well fed. It's good. I was well. I actually tried to be relatively cautious about how much I was eating because I didn't want to really truly overeat because that's always the problem with these buffets. And it was great. So yeah. So let's get right into the tea.
All right.
Sure. So basically, starting out the buffet, I did order an endless pour that is $32.99, in which you can drink a bunch of different wine, cocktails, and beer. I pretty much just had white wine and red wine. What's very nice about that is that they will bring you, you don't have to wait to finish one drink before you get another one. So I had a glass of red wine and white wine, which was nice at all times. Definitely worth the value for the endless pour. Highly suggest that. I forget how much it was by the glass, but the ratio was if you had at least 3 glasses of wine, it made sense to get the endless pour. So I highly suggest that. And then basically I wandered around a bit. I noticed first they had a caviar bar. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's like misleading, but they did have some type of black caviar. I do not believe it was sturgeon caviar on blinis. And then they had a little bit of caviar on top of these scallops, but it was very nice. It was a super nice starter, super nice presentation. So no, quite enjoyable. It was great. And then I also was looking at this amazing Louisiana crab boil. That is something I decided not to try, but I thought it looked beautiful. It's very picture worthy. So I decided to do that. And I'm always trying to scope out all the shellfish options. So that was part of what I was doing there. I'm not sure which was it the crab? Yeah, that was the crab boil was the first one. And then I think we're going to probably run into some nice pictures of shellfish and crab legs. Crab legs, notable, they had them cold. These are the cold ones. They also had them warm. They had cold mussels. They also had other shrimp, and they had a amazing peeled shrimp display. So that stuff was great. The crab legs were really good. I only got the cold crab legs along with the hot butter. I that was just sort of enough for me. I didn't need more crab legs than that, but I thought it was super nice. And crab legs are something that's relatively popular at buffets, so it's good to know Wynn has them. I'm not really up on what other buffets have. I know the Palms has a really good seafood buffet. You've heard of that, Malvestro, right?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Palms has a really, really good. I mean, I think it's actually called a lobster buffet. I did not notice any lobsters at the Wynn buffet.
How big are those shrimp? Those are huge freaking shrimp. They look like.
They were really, really good shrimp, like really large peeled shrimp, which is awesome. And that's the thing about buffets. Like when the shrimp are peeled, that is an amazing feature. When the shrimp aren't peeled, not such an amazing feature. If you have to peel all those shrimp, you'll be spending a long time. But these were really good. Everything was like pretty much so tip top quality. And that was different. They had like a filet mignon board with different peppers and things.
Mm.
I didn't try that either, but that was pretty nice. They also had different roasts and everything. Yeah, different
Oh.
yeah, that was really good. Yeah, so it really, I mean, the presentation, I thought the presentation of everything was really, really good, and the way they served you and did all that stuff. They also had a hokey Memorial Day presentation for potatoes, which I thought was pretty interesting. That's sort of odd, right? I guess that's bread around the Memorial Day. That's, or was that bread? Oh no, I thought it was. You know what? I thought it was potatoes when I looked at it. It was just bread.
They look like
Anyway,
hot cross buns.
yeah, that's that was pretty cool. So no, it was great stuff. And pizza, I did not take any pizza, but I did this more so people could see an overview. I mean, the problem with these buffets, there is so much to eat, and it's impossible to try everything, even to try a little bit of everything. But I did want to give a nice little overview. And that was my first plate. Like I was saying, I got the little, you know, the scallops with caviar and the other blinis with caviar and also shrimp. You could see my 2 glasses of wine. So I like to pace myself and take it a little bit slow. I like my food not to necessarily different food groups to touch. So that's just sort of one of my little crazy things. But I also like to make it a nice dining experience.
Mhm.
And it really was a nice dining experience. Once again, you've got great napkins, great flatware, and really good service.
So my question is, since you have both the red wine and the white wine there, is it because the red wine pairs with a better plate, and then the white wine does, or were you just getting both because you could?
No, I was getting the white wine because I was having the white wine with the shellfish.
Ah, okay.
Usually I have some form of white wine, and this was a Chardonnay, if I believe. I usually have some form of white wine or sparkling wine with the shellfish. So that was exactly what I was doing. But I liked the idea that I had the red wine already, so that when I would get like red meat or something else that I thought paired nicely with red wine, I would have that. So I just thought it was sort of a nice feature. I'm not really familiar with these endless drink things, but I tend to feel that a lot of places that do endless drinks usually make you finish a drink before they give you another drink.
Hmm.
And remember, you could take one of the nice things is you could take whatever you don't finish, like the glass of wine that you don't finish. You can have them pour you that final glass of wine, and you can walk out with that nice glass of wine and go right onto the casino floor or back up to your room. So that's pretty good. I don't think I would walk out with 2 glasses. I think that would be a little bit much. And of course the shrimp, those beautiful shrimp.
Lovely shrimp. What kind of sauces were there?
You know, the sauces were a regular cocktail sauce, and then it was another type of. It was like a little bit of a creamy. It wasn't a tartar sauce. It was a like a sort of a slightly creamy sauce.
Okay. What is this?
Those are dumplings. Shumai, I think, is the correct term. And they were really, really good. And they were steamed, these great steamed dumplings. Oh my goodness, I wish I could remember. I think they might have been chicken. They were either chicken or pork, but they were super yummy.
Mm.
They have a complete Chinese food section, which is great. And there are my beautiful crab legs. Those are cold crab legs with the butter. They had all the things to crack them. So that's always a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that.
So did you find that the shell crackers there had the right amount of weight to them? Like I remember when we were doing the in-room dining, the utensils had a certain kind of weight to them that felt right. Did the shell crackers do that too?
Yeah, these are great shell crackers. Really, really good. Everything was great. I loved it. And that was a little Asian plate that I made up with regular fried dumplings, the shumai. There was also a like a like a shrimp that was like a little bit like a General Tso's kind of shrimp, like a honey. I think it was like a honey fried shrimp. There were also some chicken wings in the middle, which are a little bit blurred out because we like to be fancy with our photos.
Mhm.
And you can see the white wine is diminishing.
Very nice. Oh my.
That was that filet mignon, I think, that I mentioned that we saw at the beginning, which I did not take. I might have taken a small piece of it actually, but that was it. I just thought it looked so cool that they had the meat. I mean, everything was really, really good.
My
I
goodness.
mean, I can't see complaining about any of it. And then you've got a great sushi section, and I also did a little assortment of sushi. And I'm not going to remember what these rolls are because I didn't take notes, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, it looks like on the right we got the salmon with avocado.
Ooh, yes, that's good.
It looks like oh, you got one of those fancier ones with all the dripping sauces over to the left there. But definitely that's salmon and avocado. I usually like when they do the salmon avocado or and cream cheese because it's kind of like a they have a lox they have this one called a lox bagel roll, which is basically salmon and cream cheese. And it's
Ugh,
freaking delicious.
I do not like cream cheese in my sushi. That it bothers me actually.
My goodness.
That's but I'm a horrible food like vlogger blogger because I should have taken pictures of all the signs. But that's okay. But I'm really trying to give you like a little bit of a taste of what there is to be there, not necessarily give you a comprehensive overview of every single
Right,
food
right.
that's there.
This isn't a Eater Vegas article, so I totally
No,
understand.
exactly, exactly. They had a poke section. I just thought that was a poke station. So I think, or is it poke? Is it poke or
Pretty sure it's
poke?
poke. I had this conversation with someone recently. It's poke.
Okay, it's poke at the buffet. So I wanted to share that, and then you'll see probably my next plate coming up, and that was mostly all sushi. That was all sushi. I got a little bit. I love seaweed salads, and it was really really lovely. Super super awesome. And that was the two I got. Yeah, you see, I got two little. I really try to limit. I mean, the food is so good, you could eat and eat and eat, but I really hate that feeling of a food coma. So I got a little bit of filet mignon and a little bit of the roast beef, an end piece, and that was super cool. And another little picture of that little. Oh, I put kimchi in the middle. That was it with the sushi, so that was great. And you can see the nice whim. So that was it, kimchi in the middle, and I have my Japanese radish on the upper right hand corner. But I love making pretty plates. I can't help it. And you've got the chopsticks in the corner, so it was great.
Yeah, it's a really good presentation that you put together there.
Thanks. I mean, I think part of it is also I want to slow myself down. I love taking pictures of food. I love sharing that kind of thing, and I really want to give you, to give you an impression of that. And for me also, I think like I just don't want to shovel the food in. I want to sort of savor it and have it take a little while, and that's for numerous reasons. A, because I enjoy savoring food, and B, because I don't want to overeat more than I felt that I overate already at this buffet. Of note is that this is a holiday buffet, so this is the Memorial Day dinner. It is $94.99 because someone at Wynn did not want to say their buffet was $95. The endless pour was $32.99. So you will see the total before gratuity. And I
Interesting.
tip over 20% usually. The total before gratuity is $138.70 for one person at the buffet.
Wow, that's that's pretty pricey for one person.
Yeah, and I think this is getting to the point where it's sort of tough for one person to almost justify. I mean, you could take away the endless pour maybe, but I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there are a lot of restaurants you can go to as one person and eat some appetizers or have an entree or one entree or something and get close to that price. So I guess it depends. And I'm seeing here in my notes here of my next picture because the service was great and it's also a holiday weekend. I left a $25 gratuity too. So that's a lot of money for that buffet. I mean, I think they deserve the gratuity. So, I mean, I think that's fine. And it actually, I used their little tipping chart probably. It told me 20% was 25.60. So I just did that. But yeah, it's not inexpensive at all. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, can you imagine a family of four? That's $95. Let's see, handy calculator before tax, right? I mean, that's $95. 95 times 4 is, yeah, it's $380 before you get to tax. So you're well over $400 before tax and gratuity and no additional alcohol or anything. That's a lot. So, I mean, that's something to keep in mind for sure.
Actually, it's $379.96 because it's 94.99.
Yeah, it's great. But the service was great. The experience was great. I'm glad I did it. Would I do it again? I think so. I mean, my biggest problem is that at my elderly age, I should not be eating that much food. And I really, part of the value, I mean, I think the problem is if you want to talk, like you talk from gambling, like value prop, like when you gamble, you get comp drinks, you get comp cigarettes, you get value from, value you get. And I feel the problem with the buffet is getting the value out of it is really eating an extreme amount of food.
Mm.
So I'm a little conflicted there because I want to feel like I get the value out of it, but I also don't want to go into a food coma. And I don't bring Ziploc bags to take food with me. That's as a kid, some relatives did that. I won't say who. I don't want to get family in trouble. But I do not take food from the buffet. I'm sorry. I just not my style really. I mean, I'm not I mean, no judgments. If you're a person who takes food from the buffet, yeah, that's what you need. You need your fancy man purse so that you can pilfer food from the buffet for later.
All right. Before we get going, is there anything on your mind? Anything that you want to share?
No, I'm still trying to figure out I'm still trying to figure out Fountainblue, and I got to visit Fountainblue, and that's it. I really I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm sort of curious about it. And I thought it was beautiful, but I haven't exactly figured out if I mean, I'm going to say I like it because it's a new casino in Las Vegas, and I wasn't there very long, but I just haven't figured it out yet. So, and it was funny because I was at Fountainblue and I went right over to Resorts World because I had to meet someone for a meeting there. And I definitely it's just tough for me to figure it out. I really did like the entrance of Fountainblue a lot, and I did like the guys. It seemed very Miami Beach to me, and that entrance into the lobby, which is great, which is so different than the way Resorts World works with the three different hotel entrances. So anyway, I'm gonna have to think about it, and obviously I'm gonna have to make another visit. So that's all I got for you. Anything else from you, Movester? Any thoughts about Fountainblue? Does anything hit you there? Because you've spent a lot more time there than I have.
I was there that one time. I haven't gone back yet. I do plan to. I liked it when I was there. It felt, it had a nice smell to it. It was like leather, brand new, newly printed, $100 bills, with a slight essence of pretentiousness. It was really nice. Like the smell there. I like the way everything was laid out. Even though they have many slot machines. It doesn't feel that way because of the way that they section things off in a certain way, so it doesn't feel like you're stuck in a slot machine farm, uh, for lack of a better term. I like the layout. I like the look. I like the blue tones. I'm a fan of the color blue, so naturally, I liked it there. Definitely want to go back. They have a $27 lox bagel that I want to try out one day. Uh,
I have a question. I've heard one or two influencers, and I don't even remember who it was, say they thought that Fontainebleau seems a bit dated. Do you think that? Because that didn't strike me like that. Now, I could understand the thought of thinking that they've been building this place for 18 years. So, by the conceptual idea that the construction's been going on for so long that it's going to be dated, but I'm not sure because so much of the stuff was probably just done in the last 2 years. But I guess the overall design of it. But do you feel that at all? Because I
I,
didn't I
I
I
don't pay
didn't think
attention
about it a lot.
to what influencers are saying. Really, man. I don't know why they would say it felt brand new when I went there. It didn't feel dated at all. They had the latest in just about every technology you can imagine. Um, I'm not sure what they're expecting. Like maybe air conditioning from the floor up, like at Circa. I'm not sure what they're looking for. But it didn't feel dated at all. Like the Bellagio feels a little dated sometimes, a little bit. But like
Okay.
the Flamingo definitely feels dated. But like I don't know why they would. They have to get those clicks. Don't get me started on these assholes. Oh, sorry.
Hey, be nice. Be nice. That's all of our friendly Vegas community. We need to be nice. Okay.
It's just
That's
the ones I mean. With just
yeah.
yeah, yeah, you know.
No, no, no. I got what you're saying. I think what's really hard sometimes, it's just like even like talking about food or the buffet. Like I love talking about food. I love talking about experiences. I love talking about how I experience it, how you experience it, Movestra, what
Hmm.
our thoughts on those things. But I also don't think I'm not an expert on food. I'm not an expert on beverage. I mean, I think I have a lot of exposure to a lot of things, but I don't think I'm an expert on any of those things. And I think what's hard sometimes is I wouldn't even know with like architecture, like I wouldn't even know what is truly in 2024 considered a dated style as opposed to 2016, I guess. Like I'm not that up on architecture and that kind of stuff because I'm not an expert there. So I think it's tough. I mean, one of the things I'm always trying to edit myself and be careful with
Yeah,
is being too much of a know-it-all about that kind of stuff because I don't know. Like I don't like what I mean, maybe there is like some real stuff where someone would look, well, you notice the way these ceilings are and the way this is with this escalator and that. Well, they're not doing they're not doing that since the year 2000, since the year 2020. Now most places do it this way.
I don't think.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but I don't think the average Vegas visitor really cares about what the building looks if it's done up to a current style of skyscraper. I don't. They don't care. They want to visit the casino. They want to try the food, maybe catch a show. That's it. So when you have people like, I don't feel that the Fontainebleau is up to the architectural standards for 2024, guys, it was started to be built in. No one cares. I guarantee
Well,
you, only
funny
that
thing
person
is
cares. And
the funny thing is when you say nobody cares, the funniest part about that is that most of the world doesn't even know that there's a new hotel called Fontainebleau. Most of the world doesn't even know that there's a new hotel called, a new casino called Resorts World. So that's sort of crazy. Actually, most of the world doesn't even know that there's a new casino called Circa. So that tells you what most of the world knows. So it's sort of funny how we get so deep into that,
and
but
even
it's a
more of
fun
that, even
conversation.
more of them don't even know about Durango. So
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, sort of cool. Anyway, give us your thoughts on buffets in the comments. Do you like buffets? Do you like the Wynn buffet? I definitely think the Wynn buffet is a pretty great buffet, but I'd be curious how it compares to the Palms lobster buffet and also Bellagio. I think still is holding strong on their buffet, like really, really doing well with their buffet. So, and that was always one of the standouts. So I'm sort of curious about the premium buffets. What's your opinion? What your opinion is. If you go to one buffet a year or one buffet every 2 years, where should you bother going? And to me, I think Wynn is definitely a good choice.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Luxury travel booking, TravelZork Travel. Visit us at TravelZork.travel to plan your next amazing vacation, and please join the conversation on social media. You can find us easily. All social platforms are at TravelZork. We'll see you next time.